If any one country in Europe could be called a time machine, it would be Scotland. After arriving here, it doesn't feel like you've reached a new place. Instead, it feels as though time has turned back several hundred years. Even today, Scotland is home to castles that witnessed Viking attacks, the coronations of kings, and heard the echoes of bloody battles fought for independence. Scotland may be a small part of the United Kingdom, but its identity is completely unique around the world. More than 5,000 castles and castle ruins are spread across this country. There are more than 790 islands here, most of which are still far removed from human habitation. And perhaps most surprisingly, Scotland has more than 30,000 lakes, known here as lochs. One of them is Loch Ness, whose mysteries continue to amaze the world even today. But Scotland is not just a land of history or mysteries. It is a place where nature can still be seen in its wildest and most beautiful form. The Highlands stretching as far as the eye can see, hundreds of islands standing in the middle of the sea, hills disappearing into the clouds, and centuries-old villages. Standing in many places here, it feels as though the modern world has not even reached this land yet. Perhaps that is why this very land inspired famous stories like Harry Potter, Braveheart, and Outlander to build their worlds here. From the medieval streets of Edinburgh to the breathtaking landscapes of the Isle of Skye. From the towering peaks of Nevis to the historic train running across the Glenfinnan Viaduct. Every stop in Scotland is not just meant to be seen, but to be felt. Behind every mountain, every loch, and every castle lies a story that has made this country one of the most fascinating places in the world. So, today, let's set out on a journey where every turn will take us to a new page of history, every destination will tell a new tale, and every view will remind us that some places are not simply seen, they are remembered forever. Welcome to Wonders of Scotland. Scotland, the land of legends. Scotland is one of the 4 countries that make up the United Kingdom, but in terms of its identity, it is perhaps the most unique. With a population of around 5.5 million, this country is located in the northern part of Great Britain. The North Sea lies to its east, the Atlantic Ocean to its west, and England forms its southern border. But understanding Scotland simply by looking at it on a map is almost impossible, because its true identity is not hidden in its size, but in its stories. Spread across nearly 78,000 square kilometers, this country has more than 790 islands, of which only around 90 are inhabited. The remaining islands are still left to nature. In some places, they are home only to seabirds, while in others, centuries-old lighthouses continue to face the waves of the sea. And you may be surprised to know that this country has a coastline of around 18,000 kilometers. But what makes Scotland most famous around the world are its castles. More than 5,000 castles and their ruins are scattered across the country. Many of these castles are still nearly 1,000 years old. Some were once royal palaces, some were strongholds of war, while others were places from where entire kingdoms could be watched over. There are probably very few other countries in the world where history still stands alive in such large numbers, preserved in the form of stones. Scotland is also defined by its nature. Around 70% of this country is made up of highlands and islands. Towering mountains, deep valleys, countless lochs, and constantly changing weather. Here, you can sometimes experience sunshine, rain, fog, and strong winds all in a single day. In other words, it is almost impossible to predict the weather in this country. And when it comes to mysteries, Scotland's name automatically comes to mind. There are more than 30,000 freshwater lochs here, but the world's attention is focused most of all on Loch Ness. For nearly 90 years, people have claimed that some mysterious creature lives in its depths. No solid proof has ever been found, but even today, it remains Scotland's biggest tourist attraction. Edinburgh, the city. That time could never change. Around 90% of tourists who visit Scotland begin their journey in Edinburgh. This nearly 1,000-year-old city is the capital of Scotland. And the interesting thing is that despite being part of the modern world, Edinburgh has never lost its identity. Even today, when you look at its stone-paved streets, centuries-old buildings and winding roads, it feels as though you have arrived in a medieval kingdom. Edinburgh is divided into two parts, Old Town and New Town. But the interesting thing is that what is called New Town here is also around 250 years old. The narrow streets, old churches, and historic buildings of the Old Town remind you of medieval Europe, while the New Town is considered an excellent example of magnificent 18th century Georgian architecture. But the true beauty of Edinburgh is not just hidden in its buildings, but in its atmosphere. When a light morning fog covers the city's stone buildings, the bells of a distant church can be heard, and people slowly begin their daily routines along the Royal Mile. The city feels not like a movie set, but like a living story. That is why Edinburgh has been a favorite city of writers, artists, and filmmakers for centuries. It is said that writer J.K. Rowling first imagined the world of Harry Potter while experiencing the atmosphere of the city's old cafes, cemeteries, and streets. Edinburgh Castle, the Fortress of Kings. If you come to Edinburgh, every Scottish person will recommend that you visit Edinburgh Castle. Built on a volcanic rock that is around 430 million years old, right in the middle of the city, this castle is not just a building, but has become a symbol of Scotland itself. When viewed from above, it feels as though the castle is still watching over the entire city. Historians believe that humans have lived on this rock for around 3,000 years. Later in the 11th century, the castle was built here, which went on to become one of the most important witnesses to Scotland's history. These walls have witnessed not only kings, but also the flames of war. The castle changed hands several times between English and Scottish forces. Historians say that there are probably very few other castles across Great Britain that have endured so many sieges. Today, when you touch its thick stone walls, you can almost imagine the clashes of swords that once echoed against these very walls. Inside the castle, some of Scotland's most precious treasures are also preserved. The honours of Scotland, the country's crown jewels, and the Stone of Destiny. The historic stone on which Scottish kings were crowned for centuries. This stone was once taken to England, but after nearly 700 years, it was brought back to Scotland. And standing within this castle is St. Margaret's Chapel, the oldest surviving building in Edinburgh. It is around 900 years old. And then comes a tradition that hundreds of people still wait for every day. At exactly 1 o'clock in the afternoon, a powerful blast suddenly echoes throughout the entire castle. This is the 1 o'clock gun. It was introduced in the 19th century so that ships sailing at sea could correct the time on their clocks. Today, ships use satellite navigation, but this cannon is still fired at the same time every day, and hearing its sound will send chills down your spine. Eilean of Skye, Scotland's most magical island. After a journey of around 5 to 6 hours from Edinburgh, you arrive at the island known as a paradise on earth, the Isle of Skye. Instead of tall buildings, lush green valleys begin to appear. The roads become narrower, traffic almost disappears, and all around you there are only mountains, lochs, and open skies. It feels as though you have not arrived in another country, but in the middle of a huge national park. As soon as you cross the Skye Island Bridge, the atmosphere completely changes. On both sides of the road, mountains stretch as far as the eye can see. Cold winds blow in from the sea, and every few kilometers you see small, colorful houses. A light trail of smoke continues to rise from their chimneys. There is simply no sense of hurry here. Along the way, you will find many small cafes, wooden benches outside, a view of the mountains in front of you, and a hot cup of coffee in your hand. Sitting there and taking a sip of coffee, you will truly feel a sense of peace. The most beautiful thing about this place is that nature and people still live in balance with each other. In some places, flocks of sheep graze peacefully in open grassy fields, while somewhere along the coast, you may see a small cottage standing alone. Sometimes you may not see a single large building for several kilometers. The Isle of Skye is considered the most beautiful island in Scotland, covering around 1,650 square kilometers. This island is famous around the world for its changing light, mysterious weather, and wonderful natural scenery. It is said that its name comes from the Old Norse word Skye, meaning island of clouds. And once you reach here, you will feel that the name was absolutely not given by mistake. Old Man of Storr, the Giant's Finger. If you arrive here early in the morning, before sunrise, perhaps one of the most beautiful views in Scotland will become a permanent part of your life's memories. A light mist all around, cold winds, and in front of you, a massive stone peak emerging through the clouds. At first glance, it feels as though some giant has pushed its finger out of the earth. This is the Old Man of Storr, considered one of the most famous places on the Isle of Skye. To reach here from the parking area, you have to trek for around 40 to 50 minutes. The trail can be a little tiring, but every few steps you will feel like turning around to look behind you. The sea stretching far into the distance below, small lochs and green fields look so beautiful that your camera will keep stopping again and again, even before you reach the destination. This rock, standing around 55 meters high, is believed to be the result of a landslide that occurred millions of years ago. But the local people have a different story. According to them, it is a memorial to a giant who, after dying, turned into stone here forever. Perhaps that is why this place came to be known as the Old Man of Storr. Today, this place has become a favorite location, not only for tourists, but also for filmmakers. Scenes from Prometheus, the BFG, and several other movies were filmed here. But there is a world of difference between capturing it on camera and seeing it with your own eyes. When strong winds hit your face, and the clouds sometimes cover the rock and then suddenly move away, for a few minutes it feels as though you have become part of a fantasy movie. That is why almost every traveler visiting Scotland makes sure to set aside some time for this place during their journey. Fairy pools, nature's crystal mirror. If you want to sit somewhere among Scotland's cold winds and towering mountains and spend some quiet time with yourself, then the best place for that is the fairy pools. As soon as you arrive here, after parking your car, an easy 20 to 30-minute walk begins. Along the way, the Eilean Mountains stand tall in front of you, with grassy fields below and a small river flowing between them, guiding you along the trail. Then, after a short while, a series of small natural pools begins to appear in front of you. They are so clear that you can even count the stones lying beneath the water. The color of the water keeps changing with the weather. Sometimes it is light blue, sometimes turquoise, and sometimes completely transparent, like glass. Small waterfalls flowing down from above make these pools even more beautiful. They were not named fairy pools, meaning pools of fairies, without reason. According to centuries-old Scottish folklore, fairies and magical creatures were believed to live around these mountains and waterfalls. Today, whether people believe these stories or not, when you look at the atmosphere here, for a few moments, you too may feel that perhaps there must have been some reason behind these legends. During the summer months, many people even dare to swim in this ice-cold water. But honestly, the water is so cold that the moment you put your feet in it, a shiver runs through your entire body. Even so, thousands of people come here every year just for this experience. Now, if you are passionate about photography, the morning is considered the best time. At that time, the air is almost still, and the water is so calm that you can see the complete reflection of the mountains standing in front of you. It feels as though the earth has created a giant mirror for itself. Loch Ness, the world's most mysterious lake. One of the most beautiful and mysterious places in Scotland is Loch Ness. At first glance, it may look like a peaceful lake. Tall mountains all around, dense forests along the shores, and completely calm water stretching for several kilometers in the middle. But as much peace as you can see on its surface, just as many mysteries are hidden in its depths. First, you should know one thing. In Scotland, a lake is not called a lake, but a loch. And Loch Ness is not just some small lake, but a freshwater lake that is around 37 kilometers long and more than 230 meters deep. It holds so much water that even if you combined all the water from the lakes of England and Wales, it would still be less than what is contained here. But what made this lake famous around the world was not its beauty, but a mystery. In 1933, some people claimed for the first time that they had seen a huge, strange creature with a long neck swimming in the lake. What happened next drew the attention of the entire world toward this lake. The very next year, a photograph emerged that came to be known as the surgeon's photograph. People assumed that it was a picture of the same mysterious creature. The photograph was later proven to be a fake, but by then, people had already given this Loch Ness monster the name Nessie, and it had become part of the stories. To this day, hundreds of scientific search operations have been conducted in this lake. Modern technologies such as sonar technology, underwater robots, and DNA analysis have also been used. But no conclusive evidence of the mysterious creature has ever been found. Even so, millions of people come here every year with just one hope. Maybe, if they are lucky, they might see some movement on the surface of the calm water. Eilean Donan Castle, Scotland's most photographed castle. If you have ever seen a postcard, wallpaper, or travel brochure featuring Scotland, there is a good possibility that this is the castle shown on it. Standing on a small island at the meeting point of three different lochs, Eilean Donan Castle is one of the most photographed places in Scotland. As soon as you arrive here, the first thing you see is a narrow stone bridge that takes you directly to the castle. As you walk farther across the bridge, the scenery all around you begins to change. On one side, calm water, on the other, towering Highland mountains, and in the middle, this castle that has stood here for centuries. If there is a little mist in the air, the entire scene looks like something straight out of a movie. This castle was built in the 13th century to protect against Viking attacks. But over the following centuries, it became involved in several battles. In 1719, during the Jacobite Rebellion, the British Navy attacked the castle and destroyed it almost completely with explosives. It then remained nothing more than a ruin for many years. Around 200 years later, at the beginning of the 20th century, Lieutenant Colonel John McRae Gilstrap had the castle rebuilt in its original form. Today, this castle has also been used as a filming location for several Hollywood movies, including Highlander and James Bond. Glencoe, the Valley of Silence. If you love road trips, a trip through Glencoe will stay in your heart forever. Driving here is not just about getting from one place to another, but about experiencing every moment. On both sides of the road, mountains hundreds of meters high rise into the sky, with their peaks often hidden in the clouds. Somewhere in the distance, a waterfall may be cascading down the mountainside, while in an open valley, you may spot small flocks of sheep, creating an amazing experience. Glenfinnan Viaduct, the Harry Potter Bridge. Harry Potter fans could recognize this bridge even in their sleep at midnight, a long curved bridge made of stone standing between towering hills. And just a short while later, a black steam train comes into view from the distance. As it moves across the bridge, the entire scene looks exactly like what you see during a journey on the Hogwarts Express. This is the Glenfinnan Viaduct, which the world now knows as the Harry Potter Bridge. Built with 21 arches, this railway bridge is around 380 meters long. It was completed in 1901, and at the time, building it entirely out of concrete without using steel was considered a major engineering achievement. Even today, during the summer season, the Jacobite steam train passes across this bridge. As soon as the train arrives on the viaduct, hundreds of people standing below get their cameras ready. Some people even arrive hours in advance and sit there just to witness this one moment. Ben Nevis, the roof of Britain. Every morning, hundreds of people set off from Fort William in the same direction. Some have trekking poles in their hands, some carry large backpacks on their shoulders, while others begin their climb after taking the last sip of a hot coffee. And their destination is Ben Nevis. Standing at around 1,345 meters, this mountain is not only the highest peak in Scotland, but also the highest peak in the entire United Kingdom. The route to the top initially seems quite easy. A wide stone path, green slopes all around, and the Highlands stretching into the distance. But gradually, with every step, the scenery begins to change. The trees are left behind. The air becomes colder, and soon all you can see around you are rocks and clouds. Another special thing about Ben Nevis is its weather. You never know when the sun will come out, when the rain will begin, or when the entire mountain will disappear into thick fog. It is impossible to predict. Sometimes, during a single trek, you can experience all 4 seasons in one day. It usually takes around 4 to 5 hours to reach the summit. But once you get to the top, the view makes you forget all the exhaustion. In clear weather, valleys stretching far into the distance, sparkling lochs, and countless mountains of Scotland can all be seen at once. And if you are lucky enough to have the clouds below you, it feels as though you are standing in the middle of the sky. Interestingly, millions of years ago, Ben Nevis was once a massive volcano. Over time, its remains were gradually eroded, and today, that same mountain stands as the highest peak in Britain. St. Andrews, where tradition meets the sea. Located on Scotland's east coast, St. Andrews looks like a peaceful seaside town at first glance. And if you walk through its streets in the morning, you might see someone sitting by the sea with a coffee, while somewhere among centuries-old buildings, students can be seen riding bicycles toward their university. But the true identity of St. Andrews is golf. The old course located here is considered the birthplace of golf. People have been playing golf on this course for more than 600 years. And even today, every major golf player in the world dreams of playing here at least once in their career. But St. Andrews is not limited to golf alone. The University of St. Andrews, located here, is one of the oldest and most prestigious universities in Scotland and the world. Founded in 1413, this university has produced scientists, writers, and leaders for centuries. Interestingly, Prince William and Kate Middleton also first met here while they were studying. Meanwhile, the ruins of St. Andrew's Cathedral, standing along the edge of the city, still remind us of the time when it was once the largest church in all of Scotland. And the sea stretching out nearby gives this historic city a completely different sense of peace. Stirling, the heart of Scotland. If there is one city in Scotland's history that has witnessed the most battles, it is Stirling. From a distance, Stirling Castle, built on a high volcanic rock, begins to come into view. The entire city spreads out below, with valleys stretching far into the distance ahead. Looking at this place, it is easy to understand why controlling it was considered so important centuries ago. Whoever ruled Stirling could control a large part of Scotland. Today, when you walk inside Stirling Castle, the royal halls, ancient weapons, massive walls, and chambers of kings transport you straight into medieval Scotland. And the view from the castle walls still looks much the same as it must have appeared to soldiers hundreds of years ago. Just a short distance from the city stands the National Wallace Monument, dedicated to the warrior who risked everything for the freedom of his country. Its towering monument still looks over the entire area, making you feel as though history never ended here. It simply turned into stone and remained standing. The Scottish spirit, more than castles and Highlands. The people of Scotland are just as proud of their identity as they are of their history. Even in the small towns here, you will find locals greeting you with a big smile and a hello. People sitting in cafes casually chat for hours, live music plays in the pubs, and as evening arrives, the entire atmosphere begins to feel incredibly warm and welcoming. When it comes to Scottish culture, the story would be incomplete without mentioning the kilt. Even today, many Scottish men wear the traditional kilt on special occasions. And the moment you hear the sound of the bagpipes played alongside it, it feels as though centuries-old history has come alive once again. This very music has now become an identity of Scotland around the world. Scotland celebrates many festivals throughout the year. Among them, Hogmanay, held around New Year, is considered one of the most famous New Year celebrations in the world, when all of Edinburgh lights up with lights, music, and fireworks. Meanwhile, the Edinburgh Fringe Festival is considered the world's largest arts festival, where thousands of artists transform the entire city into a giant stage through theatre, comedy, music, and street performances. And if you want to see Scotland's traditional strength and spirit, there are few places better than the Highland Games. Unique events such as the caber toss, the sound of bagpipes, and traditional dances are still held with the same enthusiasm as they were centuries ago. When it comes to food, Scotland's flavors are also as unique as its landscape. Fresh Atlantic salmon, buttery shortbread biscuits, hot Scotch pies, and Scotch whiskey, famous around the world, have become part of its identity. Meanwhile, the traditional dish haggis is still considered an important part of Scottish culture. Whether everyone likes its taste or not, most people who visit Scotland make sure to try it at least once. But friends, today's Scotland does not stand on history alone. Renewable energy, education, biotechnology, tourism, and the whiskey industry are strong foundations of this country's economy. Cities like Edinburgh, Glasgow, Aberdeen and Dundee are continuously becoming new centers of innovation and research. At the same time, centuries-old universities still attract students from all over the world. Perhaps this is what makes Scotland so different. On one side, there are thousand-year-old castles, while on the other, there are modern research labs. Somewhere, you hear the sound of bagpipes, while somewhere else, young people are working on new technologies. This balance is what makes this country not only beautiful, but memorable as well. So, as you've seen, Scotland, which looks beautiful in movies, is actually many times more beautiful in real life. Now tell us in the comments, would you like to go on a journey to Scotland? And which country would you like to see in the next mind-blowing travel documentary? Please like and share this video. And for more interesting videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press the notification bell. Thank you.